Okay, welcome everybody to our January 2026 staff meeting. Probably some people that are going to join us in the next minute or two, so they'll just catch up where we are. It is our first meeting of the year 2026. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday break and celebrated with family and friends, or it was nice and quiet, like mine was, which was very nice. Please make sure you sign in the comment box so I know who was here and we can do the raffle for gift cards with your names because you took the time to come watch live. So 3 people get gift cards when we do the raffle. So I want to thank people randomly. In the comment section, my ECE or early childhood education goal this year is, so what might be a goal for you this year in 2026? Could be little, could be big, could be something you're already working on. And then I read them from the comments if they pop up. All right, let's get going. Super Staff Member of the Month, and this was of December, is Miss Terry. She's committed to her classroom and dedicated to ensuring the students and families in her room are well cared for. She works diligently with her coworker to ensure students are receiving meaningful instruction that is fun and engaging. She's thoughtful and caring towards others, a role model when it comes to attendance and following policies and procedures, asks questions, and always receptive to constructive learning moments that promote her growth as an early childhood educator. So congratulations to Miss Terry for being Super Staff Member of December. And then our next one is Miss Amanda Manguel. She is dedicated and successful mentor in the Building Bright Futures and Apprenticeship NC programs. Completes paperwork and deadlines for the 3-school program with time to spare. Ensures her work is detailed and thorough to support students and their family during their first year of preschool. She's supportive to her teaching partners and the families she serves, and she creates fun and engaging lessons or activities that allow for meaningful learning through play. So congratulations to those 2 lovely individuals. And then we have an honorary one for Miss Brittany because she really can't win, but we wanted to congratulate her and thank her so much for jumping in to ensure the behind the scenes tasks are complete. From data entry to filing tons of paperwork, she works to ensure deadlines are met. She dives in any shift and does split shifts some of the time to make sure the day runs smoothly. She works to organize and clean areas throughout the school so our families can see a clean and inviting space for their children. She greets all families and always sure to ask or talk about something specific to the family to make them feel and their child feel seen when entering or leaving school. Brittany's very good about that. I think she even knows what car most people drive, which is amazing. So thank you to Miss Brittany and congratulations to our 2 super staff members and honorary mention Miss Brittany. January newsletter was put together by Miss Amy. Lovely newsletter. I love what she did with our little characters on the top left. And there are some key things to remember are that we changed the rates this past Monday. So parents are paying a little more because obviously inflation goes up. So we have to raise rates every year. We were closed on the 1st, and NC Pre-K and 3 school and Onslow County went back to school on Tuesday. On the 19th, we are closed again, just straight up closed. The PD day is in February. And then there is a closing for the county on the 20th and 21st. And then Parents Night Out is scheduled for the 23rd. Now, what happened when our lovely consultants came, they saw the Parents Night Out posting and had stated that we need to be licensed for 2nd shift. So that means evening shift. And all of our years doing it, no one has said that, and it's been posted. And we've even discussed how awesome it is that the community gets to partake, and we do this for the community. And now we have to try to figure out a solution. So Joyce and I and Ruby and Amy have been brainstorming what we can do. So I wrote an email to the consultants who visited and are going to see if our idea will fly. And then we can continue Parents Night Out. Okay, employee handbook and amendment and clarification. You're going to be asked to provide your signatures tomorrow. And this was typed up, thankfully, for Ms. Ruby. She put it all together for us. And we just want to make sure that everything is clear because we don't want there to be any questions, lingering questions, gray areas, because that's the worst when it's you don't know. You have to know, so we want to inform you. And we want to make sure that you are well informed so you can make decisions about yourselves and your absences with all the information in front of you. So we want to inform, I'm going to read it. So sorry, you got to listen to me. We want to inform all Sneads Ferry Quality and Holly Ridge Quality staff that as of January 1st, we will be amending and clarifying the language in our employee handbook regarding callouts, specifically those that occur before and after holidays. It has been our staff's general understanding that any callout, regardless of reason, will lead to written documentation from the administrative team. This expectation will remain in place. Moving forward, please note that doctor's notes will be reviewed and accepted in a discretionary basis by myself and Joyce. Approval will be on a case-by-case basis, which reviews an individual's prior time and attendance, their record, and will apply only to the determination of eligibility for holiday pay when call-outs the day before or after a scheduled closing occur. To reiterate our previously stated attendance expectations, so this you already all know. You are expected to maintain consistent attendance and arrive on time for your scheduled shifts. If an emergency or unavoidable situation arises, you must notify the opening team as soon as possible and no later than 2 hours before the start of your scheduled shift, following the proper call-out procedures. So many of you are very good at this. You do it already on your own. First, call the front office, leave a voicemail if the phone is not answered or if it's before business hours. Second, send a text message to the business line so that if you don't get in contact for number one, please do number two as well. And then if you don't get number one or two in responses, message me or message somebody on the admin team if those don't work. After the third day of call out, a doctor's note is necessary for verification of the reason. So the third day, you don't have, some of us, we get a fever and we feel better the next day or 2 days later. You don't have to go to the doctor for those days. But if you want to be paid for the before or after the holiday and you don't have attendance concerns, we do need that doctor's note to be able to pay you for the absence that came before or directly after the closing. The notes, this is important because now with AI, with things you can just Google, you can print a doctor's note. We have parents doing it all the time. So we want to make sure that they're legitimate notes on both ends for the students who come and we say, that kid's still sick, and the parent brings us a note and we have to go by what the doctor's note said. So this is now also stated in the parent handbook of how the doctor's notes need to be. Oh, we don't accept doctor's notes, sorry. We don't accept them anymore for students. It has to be 72 hours or more, depending on the child's illness and the parent's discretion. But we have a minimum of 72 hours for children because coming back the next day, they're not better. So we just want to make sure that the parents keep them out those 72 hours and 24 hours of which are fever free. So the notes that we're going to accept from staff must contain the clinic letterhead, date of the visit, the return to work date, which is determined by medical guidance that aligns with the CDC recommendations for exclusion to ensure the prevention of further exposure to staff and students. Now, wet signature and clinical stamp. So the doc or the nurse has to sign, and then the stamp from the office. So making sure that those things are on the doctor's note if you happen to be in that situation, which is very rare. Continued or frequent absences may result in further disciplinary action up to and including termination, which is very rare. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to speak to a member of the administrative team. So this is out there. Everyone who's attending the meeting and watching it later, you have heard me read it. You can read it yourself, and it will be on top of the mailboxes in a copy form, and then for you to sign that you understand it. And that way, it's all across the board. Everyone understands. New hires and reminders for everyone else. So obviously we don't park in the front row. Parents are dropping off, picking up, so we want to leave that for them. Everyone's been very good about that, so I greatly appreciate you doing that. Remember, you can go in through the room 6 playground, the forest playground. Those gates are open. If you come before 9, their door is typically propped open. Clocking in at most 5 minutes before your shift starts, because like I've said, they can add up, and it looks like you're doing overtime, but when it wasn't approved. So it confuses the system, and Joyce has to go and recheck everything and clarify if you did work or didn't get approved overtime. So at most 5 minutes before your shift starts. Always ask questions and always be honest. If you don't tell us something, we have no idea there's an issue or a concern and we cannot help you. If you're a flex teacher, always ask, how can I help? And if you're a co-teacher or a lead teacher and you get a flex teacher, make sure you guide them, kindly using respectful language and making sure that they feel like you're there to build them up to become very confident in their job, comfortable in their job, and to make sure that they're following all of our policies and procedures as well. So it's really how we support each other in the classroom when we build those teams in our classroom environments. Because our seasoned staff, you're all there to support our new team members to hopefully have them stay with us, build that long-term relationship, and then they're going to work with you. You want to make sure that they have a good working relationship with you as well. Reminders, lesson plans. Everyone was very good about this. We had all lesson plans up and current. Thank you, Miss Amy, for checking on them this previous weekend when she went into work. The menus were posted. Whiteboards now have updated lists. So if you do get new children, just use the copy of the next week's list you get for a meal program, and you can ask for a copy of it and cut it out, put it on. Make sure you're charging those tablets and your walkie-talkies. If you still don't have working walkie-talkies, please tell us, because I have new ones waiting for the classrooms who might have them on the edge of not working or working anymore if they don't charge. We want them working for you, so please make sure you let us know. And purses and phones should be locked in the closet. The 5 feet up, I don't think that flies anymore. So everything, just make sure it's in that closet. If it's a drink and you're using my new fancy tumblers that I got you and they're totally sealed and covered, just make sure. We had an incident where one fell off a shelf and hit a kid on the head. It was a heavy tumbler, totally an accident. But to avoid that, I would just keep it in the closet. When you want a big sip of your drink, get it and close it back up again. That way we don't risk them falling over and tumbling on a child. Supply list, make sure they're turned in by Wednesday. And there were a bunch of requests for orders. Please make sure you give them to Brittany at least 2 weeks in advance, because she's going to look at it, right? That end of that week you hand it in. I'm going to order maybe that day that she messages me, but most likely over the weekend, I'll order things. So they have maybe 4 or 5 days to arrive. So you really have to make sure you have this 2 weeks buffer to ensure the items that you're requesting come in, or for us to be able to find them in our multiple storage spaces. The nap time checklist. Please pick 1 or 2 each day during rest. I really ask that you maintain and upkeep your classroom spaces. It shouldn't be that we let it go, we let it go, we let it go, and then state or sanitation is coming and we scramble to clean, we scramble to get everything in order. That's not quality. That's faking it till we make it. So we want to make sure that you're just maintaining your rooms. The kids' cubbies where they stuff all their good little trinkets and they find their parents' treasures and put the little snail shells in their cubbies, and they're in there for months. Maybe some crumbs from a party they wanted to save to bring home later on. Make sure you wipe those cubbies out at least once a month. I would think maybe twice a month would be great. You can have your kids wipe out their own cubbies and organize them, give them a sense of responsibility for their belongings in their space. Kids are allowed to touch soap bottles. They cannot touch sani and discs. So have them scrub those tables, chairs, have them work on something, cleaning in a bin with soapy water, clean those plastic toys as part of a center activity. Get creative so that they're chipping in while thinking it's a fun activity. All right, end of the day. Playgrounds have been looking a lot better lately. Thank you so much for those who pick up after your students, but also please make sure that they are held responsible for their learning space and their play spaces. So any age, 2, maybe even older toddlers, get them out there. Let's go pick up, put in the bin, put in the bin. As long as they're not picking up, yucky boogie tissues, they're picking up cups and things like that. And we'll wash our hands when we go inside. Toys, if you see the trash bins, now that we've had the ones that have the cover, I want everyone to remember that when you touch the trash bin, your hands need to be sanitized after or washed. So if you're outside, it's difficult to go wash your hands after you open the trash bin. So try to make sure that the lids are up the entire time you're outside, so you don't have to touch the bin, the kids don't have to touch the bin. And then when you are going in after play, close the bin. That way the rain doesn't get in and it doesn't get all yucky and gunky. Better idea, take the bag out and then you can throw it out when one of you goes to lunch. But I understand that might be difficult. I bought these bins so that they would be sealed and there's no weather that will get in them. And then once they get full enough, they get taken out. But the best idea is to take it out of there with you each time you're done playing outside. So each classroom is held responsible for their own trash. Closing rooms, make sure you keep it under 20 minutes. I believe we have been able to do a much shorter amount of time. Diaper changes are done by the co-teacher or the lead teacher before they leave. So we're not leaving that whole round of diaper changing. Everyone has someone who leaves the room around 4:30 or 4 o'clock. 4:30 is ideal because that would always be before the 2 hour mark when we close at 6 o'clock. So only those who have pooped or have a soaking wet diaper, or maybe they did something and fell in a puddle, those are the ones who would have to be changed. Everyone else should be good to go until they get picked up. And then when they're picked up, it's before the 2 hour mark because we always have to change or potty before the 2 hour mark. Some people think it's at the 2 hour mark and then minutes get behind you. It has to be before the 2 hour mark. All right. Wipe noses and faces. We're sending these darlings home clean. So if you don't have a bag of wipes in your emergency bag, please make sure you put one in there tomorrow morning. So every time you go outside, you see some boogies, you see yucky stuff, crusties from them sleeping from nap time you forgot to get, you have something that can clean their face. So when they get picked up, they look great. They don't look a hot mess. Supervision. We want to make sure that supervision is active supervision. You are actively engaging with your students. I hate to see lumps on a log because you are educators and we're educating. We take every moment throughout the day to teach something, whether it's teaching how to stand in line, waiting patiently to wash your hands, whether it's teaching colors in the letters of the alphabet, whatever you are teaching, it is constant. You are just constant. You're going to be out of breath by the end of the day because you're always working with kids. Problem solving, social emotional development. We got to make sure that we are always engaged with students. Sitting there like this across the room from most of the students, I don't want to see that. When I look on the cameras, I don't want to see that. I want to see you up, moving, grooving. I want to see you sitting with kids. If you're exhausted, then you're just going to sit with kids and you're going to talk to them. You don't have to get up and flail and dance, but we're making sure that we're engaging with students. Whether you go to them at the centers or you pull students to you because you have a specific purpose of learning goals and objectives in mind, and you have specific children you want to work with. So all of that should be in the lesson plans and ready to be implemented each week. And then, of course, we always have to be flexible. Okay. Wait times before activities. I haven't seen this too much, but I do want to remind everybody that students cannot sit and wait without an activity or engagement more than the minutes they are old. So if you have a 1-year-old, they can't just sit and wait around for longer than a minute because they really don't even have that sense of patience yet. You are constant in those toddler rooms. I've seen you guys. You're singing, you're dancing, you're reading books, you're playing with them, you're over here, you're over there, but you're always talking with them or talking to them about what you're doing. But there's always some sense of engagement. You can even talk out loud about how you're changing another child's diaper, but there's talking in the room and you're trying to get them engaged. So we can say, what happens next? We wipe. Okay, let's wipe. And whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter, but you're engaging them. There are mighty minutes and there are toddler mighty minutes. So if you want some ideas of what to do, which are very quick, simple activities, no real materials required, and ways to engage your students, I can get that list for you for toddlers, twos, and preschool. Moving on. Oh, open-ended questions. This is more for our 2.5 and up. But if you ask, what color is the truck? There's only one answer, right? Whatever color the truck is. But if you ask, where will the truck go? You're going to have a bunch of kids generate different ideas. So trying to do those open-ended questions, getting them to generate, use their imagination, use more than just one word to respond because you're trying to build their vocabulary. Giving them a model answer is also a great idea when they're in their 2s and early 3s because they may not know how to formulate their answer yet. So you can provide your own. I think the truck is going to go to the store to buy some milk. And you'll probably have a lot of kids repeat your answer, but at least you got them started. And then once they get used to that structure, they can go and do it on their own, and then you can add yours in later on. Assigning jobs. We have those little teacher ladies and mamas in the classroom, and they can be perfect checkers. So if you want to assign a little checker and they have a tag and a little tag with a lanyard and they have a little clipboard, whatever, you want to make it cute. But really, their job is to keep everyone in check while you're doing the other things you need to do around the classroom. So they're going around making sure everyone's feet are on the floor, everyone's chair is pushed in, their hands are nice and steady on that table because we just washed them. We want to make sure the germs stay off our fingers. We're waiting for lunch. So you have a checker or two checkers and they're going around the tables. And we can have that job and keep and hold our kids accountable for what they need to do, the expectation to get ready for lunch while still being engaged with whatever story you're reading or songs you're singing. Okay, incident reports, they are all considered legal documents, so please make sure you are using black ink. We really only have black ink at school, but some people bring their own pens. It has to be black. The incident reports, we preferably want to keep the white copy of the incident reports. You can have the parents have the yellow carbon copy and bring it home. The biting, non-injury reports, those all need to be saved as well at school. So the most important thing is to take a picture of it. Take a picture of it, post it on ProCare, inform the parents that, hey, this is waiting for you to be signed. And then when they get there, hopefully they sign it and leave it. But if they happen to sign it and walk out with it, you still have that picture of the report. So if we need it for the future, we have it. It didn't just disappear. And we can say we wrote it and it was there, but without that proof, it never existed. So please make sure you snap a photo of it and then you can put it in, there's an incident option or the activities option of photo. So either way, you can always write something about the incident there. Oh, it's going all over again. All right. Notes from admin. Again, this isn't a big concern anymore, but making sure that all shelves and centers are accessible always during free choice. So if it is free choice time, that means freedom choice. Like they get to pick all centers from all of them, but it's not a free for all. It is still structured if you teach them how to go to each center. And that takes time. It takes you modeling. And this should have started when we started school, but it can still start now. If you feel like your room is chaotic, you feel like your kids are haphazardly going here, then there, then there, they don't really have a sense of purpose when it's free choice time, teach about all the things they can do in each center. Teach one center a day, and then teach them how to move their little face icon, or if they're reading their names now, their little popsicle stick, and how to show they are in this center. They are now occupying a spot in this center. Have kids identify how many spots are remaining. Can they fit in that center? And then when we have too many friends in a center, what can we do to solve our problem? Now, there always has to be an opportunity for them to join that center. So how can we say and ask those peers, hey, when you're all done, can I have a turn? Or can we set a timer for 5 minutes so that my turn will be next? And things like that. Brainstorming solutions so that they're not resulting to impulsivity and physical action. They have a way to solve their problem. I got itchy nose. Okay. Cleaning throughout the day. Please make sure you are sweeping those floors. When I walked by, there was breakfast still on the floor of a classroom when I walked by right before lunch was being served. So please make sure you just do a quick sweep because all those crumbs, all that stuff, it goes into your carpets, it goes everywhere. You want to make sure you just do a quick sweep, clean it up, and that way you start again with the clean slate of a floor versus your kids are sitting on their bottoms playing and they just sat in all these crumbs. So they're walking around with crumb butts for the rest of the day. The tied trash bags, I know people tie them and they put them in the bathroom, right? You want them out of the way, or they put them right outside the classroom, but then they are forgotten until the end of the day. Please make sure if you are tying up a bag and you plan to take it out at lunch, please take it out at lunch. Remind each other, oh, can you grab that bag and I'll wash the cups from lunch if you're in the toddler room, or can you grab that bag and I'll do this for lunch. But split the job, and that way we're making sure that the trash is out and you're ready to go and move on for the next activity without trash sitting in your bathrooms. Okay, apprentices and mentors. I wanted to remind everybody that there are two different programs that we have. Apprenticeship NC is for anyone who is new, who is a high school student. The level of college does not matter to join Apprenticeship NC. So if we feel like you would make a great apprentice or a great mentor to an Apprenticeship NC individual, we will send you the invite, and it's labeled through NCR RAN Apprentice. You'll get it in your email and you sign it digitally, and then you're enrolled. There is a wait list. So we don't automatically get you accepted. However, we can run our own apprenticeship program without the funding, because funding is very selective, and it's the beginning of this year, so they haven't established the new funding amounts yet. But you can be enrolled, and if we get funding, awesome. If we don't, you're still getting a mentorship program, and you're still learning through that program. Building Bright Futures is more specific and directed towards early childhood educators who are going to grow in this field. So Building Bright Futures means that you kind of came out with a high school diploma, you don't have any further college education, and you are going to take us up on this plan to join BBF and be an apprenticeship. If you are a mentor for that program, then you're going to guide your apprentice through their pathway and make sure that they are following the checklist and doing what they need to do to finish the program, because everybody gets 1 year to finish the program. Sometimes we can ask for an extension, but not always. So if you're interested in being an apprentice or a mentor, just reach out to Ruby or myself. I wanted to share phrasing is important because we all care and we all want to make sure that the children know we care. But sometimes we have a hard way of saying a difficult time of phrasing it. So if we say, "Are you okay?" Or we can say, "You fell down and bumped your elbow. That must have hurt." So thinking about those statements, "Are you okay?" Yes, we recognize they were injured, but you fell down and bumped your elbow. I recognize, I saw what happened. Sometimes I don't see what happens, but that must have hurt. I'm sympathizing with your pain. And then I can ask, "Would you like some ice?" And then we call for ice. So elaborating on that we saw you, I recognize what happened to you, and I'm going to be here to help, or we're going to solve the problem. If I say, "Thank you for cleaning up," I say that to my kids all the time. But to get into the habit of saying, "You picked up all of the toys so others can find them later," that was so helpful. So I'm directly stating what they did and why it's so beneficial to clean up, instead of, "Thanks for cleaning up. Thank you for cleaning up these trucks. Now my friends won't trip on the trucks when they come to play in blocks. We have a clear space to build." Something to that effect. And there's some more here, but I wanted to make sure that we understand the difference between how we can phrase something and how we can elaborate to also make it a teachable moment for the students who are in our care, and kind of recognize exactly what they did and why it's so wonderful that they did that. This, we used to be posted in our bathrooms. I think it might have been taken down, but it says, "Tell me what to do instead." And we want to make sure we state the expectation. In your even tone, state that expectation. We use walking feet. Now, not everyone's just going to, "Oh yeah, you're right, Miss Shannon. I use walking feet. Let me walk." No. So we can say, "We use walking feet, but you can tiptoe or you can march." And we'll make a choice, because I just gave them two positive choices, two things that I would say yes to that they could proceed doing. And I'm still stating the expectation that we expect them to use walking feet. Because if we start with "No running," I got nothing to go. They're just going to hear running and they're going to keep going. But if I state the expectation, hopefully they heard the expectation, and then I can give them the two positive choices to follow through. But you kind of really have to repeat yourself a few times, knowing our itty bitties, especially the younger ones. So instead of saying "Don't run," we can say "Walk," use walking feet. How about you stay with me or hold my hand? And then we can do the positive acknowledgement after the fact. "You're holding my hand. That's so safe." I wouldn't say respectful, but that's so safe so you don't trip and I don't trip. You're keeping me safe by holding my hand. If we don't stand on the chair. Instead, we can say, "We sit on the chair." Or we can say, "Chairs are for sitting. Do you need something high up?" Maybe there's a purpose to them stepping on that chair. They really did want to reach something. So instead, they had a very creative way to try to solve the problem, but we're going to stand on the ground. "Let me help you grab something high up." And we are so careful because we're sitting. Look at that. Now you can sit and play with these toys. Blah, blah, blah. You got it. This whole list, I'll print it again. We'll put her right in the bathroom for some quality reading time. Okay, this gets to the meat of what I wanted to get into today for our little PD. I want you to visualize. Picture a student who you are typically working with each day who struggles to regulate emotions and engage in positive behavior. So that kid who really pushes those buttons every day, put them right in your brain right now. Okay, now when they're in utter distress, when they are throwing a fit, what do you normally do with them or for them? And I want you to visualize what you do with or for them in those moments. How does it normally go? Do you see a quick turnaround? Do they regulate emotions right there and then? Or does it take quite a bit of time, quite a bit of redirecting, quite a bit of support? Or do you tell them, I'm here when you are all calm, your body is calm, I can help you. Come get me when you're ready. Come get me when you're calm. They probably can't hear a word you're saying. So you're going to go keep a side eye on them and work with the other kids in the room. So they know you're still there. You've told them, but you are going to give them that space because obviously their body and their brains are not working right now. They're in that high emotional state and they need to regulate and bring themselves down. If you were watching a video of this occurrence, so say you were the fly on the wall and you were watching yourself interact with this child, or you're an administrator and you walk in to make an observation of this interaction, what would be your critique? And what would you praise about this interaction? I really want you to think about what you do well in those scenarios. If you don't yell, scream, and get angry at this kid, you're doing a great job because there are so many adults who cannot be in this field who would just lose it. So already that's praise on you. You are able to calm yourself down and go and support that child the best you can. With that aside, you're doing a fantastic job, but what do you need to improve on? What are those little things that you notice that really just never works? I try it every time and I never see a change with that. I always have to call admin when this happens, or I need my co-teacher to step in because I'm a lot of ideas at that point. Or does the child just kind of stay on their own, take a long time and cozy, and then it's forgotten about? You don't want to readdress it because they're finally calm, right? I don't want to touch that again. They're just going to escalate again. So we want to make sure that we have teachable moments when these things happen. These kids are in utter distress and they're throwing fits because they don't know how to communicate with us. That's the only way they know how, right? Throwing themselves around, yelling, screaming, crying, whining. It becomes a habit and it's a hard one to break. When Matthew was born, Adam totally regressed. He was whining. I think he just stopped. It was driving me nuts because constant whining and it was about nothing and the screaming out loud to get what he wanted, but it was total regression from having a new baby in the house. And the consistency that needs to take place in our household to make him understand we are not going to listen when you whine. You have to use your big boy voice. So we would actively ignore until he used his big boy voice. We would remind him a few times in the beginning because he didn't get it. I'm yelling and I'm screaming and you're not giving me what I want. But we had to repeat ourselves quite often. And then he started to get it. He would mimic what I would say. I'd say, oh, you mean this, instead of yelling, screaming, and whining at me. So finally, we're out of that phase. But it takes so much dedication. And that's one kid in my house. You have 16 or 17 or 22 in your classroom. So thinking about how can you guys work as a team, co-teacher and lead teacher, to make it so that with these tools I'm about to give you, how can you implement them so that that child you just visualized, how can they grow and learn from what you're doing? Because you don't want to be in this process until June. And then if they're with you over the summer, for the whole summer too, you want to show growth and progress. You want them to flourish so that they can be little problem solvers and independent thinkers and learners when they go to kindergarten. So with these tools, just pop them in your tool belt from today, and then hopefully you can try to implement them tomorrow. So the question is, do you need more tools or do you not feel confident using the tools you already have? So if you've exhausted everything you know, strategy-wise, to work with this child, you probably need more tools. But if you feel like you didn't really use the tools you have well, and you didn't use them to their fullest potential, then we have to grow with the ones you already have. And that's very different. Those are totally different things. So I want you to recognize where you might be in that process. So this is a video, I have shown it a while back. It's about problem solving and using the solution cards that come from the pyramid model. They're so simple. We print them, you can laminate them, and we're going to show in the video how they use them to implement problem solving. And then I have a couple more short videos that I want you to use and get your tools in your tool belt.
One of my favorite pyramid
Hold on, it's not loud enough. Okay.
strategies is the solutions card. A solution card is something that you have your kit, and so if the kids are fighting over a toy, or if they want to turn to something, we would go over to the solution kit and pull out a card. And some of them are they don't take turns, so we have to wait, or let's trade the card. Those are the main ones they use in my classroom. Or while they're doing that, what should we do, so they can find a different toy, so that that we're working through a solution and it's not just getting frustrated that they can't have that toy, which happens with the popular a lot.
You did do a very high job. Our three overarching rules about RCN are that we take care of ourselves, we take care of each other, and we take care of our world. And so I used the pyramid model solution cards to outline those three expectations for us as a center. What's our first one? Thank you, Camille. We take care of ourselves. Beautiful, friend. Beautiful. Take care of each other. When we take care of each other, we What's our last one? Yes, we do, Jaya. We take care of our world. We take care of our world. We wait and take turns and stay please. Very good, my friends. Kiss your brains. You guys know it.
I think one of my favorite strategies or tools is just keeping positive and approaching everything in a positive way. Even a negative situation, if you put a positive spin on it when you're presenting it to someone, whether it's a teacher or a child, it gets them to think differently about it and they'll work together for a common solution.
I like that.
The problem solving is what we use all day, every day. Just stop, take a deep breath. I see that you're upset. Let's see what we can do.
Okay, you can do this already. I like how you used your words.
One of my favorite pyramid strategies is just being able to teach children to communicate their emotions. So we don't do timeouts and we don't scold children for making poor choices. We do understand that they're children and that's a way that they're trying to communicate. So one of the best areas of the pyramid model is we allow the children to express themselves, and then we sit down and we discuss with them how they're feeling. We may show them some emotions and have them identify with that emotion and just let the child know it's okay to feel this way, but that we have to communicate our feelings through our words and not through our actions.
One of our most used strategies is known as Tuck the Turtle, teaching kids to slow themselves down, to think like a child. A situation where they're feeling themselves getting real agitated, helping them go into the shell, 3 deep breaths, think of a solution, come out of the shell. Even if the solution is not a great solution, it slows them down enough that they're not going from I'm fine and now I'm hitting the child next to me.
Do you want to go back and see if you can get your 3, or do you want to do something else?
Okay, so the last one I really want to touch on is Tucker the Turtle. I bought everyone a turtle. I don't know if you still have your turtle, but I bought it towards the beginning of the school year, and it was a little turtle puppet that every classroom could use to use the Tucker Turtle strategies and have your puppet model those strategies, use the puppet with children talking as Tucker and read those stories. They are printable. The link is right there on this page. And that way you can use that in your program, tied in with second step if you choose to use second step, conscious discipline, problem solving. But these are all those tools I'm talking about. Sometimes one doesn't work for a specific child or a group of children. But if you have all these tools and you try them out little by little, not saying like one day you're going to try this tool, next day you're going to try this tool. You do have to give them a little bit of time each, but you're not out of ideas and you're not pulling your hair out because you're out of ideas. We want you to use these ideas with their full potential because they have been shown to work, but you may not have a child who responds well to that one specific strategy. However, you have this other strategy, say Tucker the Turtle, you do small group implementation at a table or you join them on a mini carpet in library and you keep it small. When you do whole group Tucker Turtle, it's a little difficult to implement that and have everyone engaged. So I do suggest you start out with small groups and then you can grow bigger, or you can do a very mini lesson with the whole group and then pull small groups to kind of expand on it. So I'm going to show you another video. This one is problem solving in the moment, and it goes into another type of strategy you can use with problem solving.
Welcome to this short module on problem solving in the moment. This video highlights the ways that teachers can support children in learning how to use problem solving to deal with the upsets and conflicts and other social problems that may occur in the preschool classroom. For many young children, the preschool classroom is a new social experience. They will need to learn how to share space with other children, share toys with other children, and share the teacher's attention. It can be hard. Some problems are bound to occur. Let's find out how to help children learn to problem solve. Problem solving in the moment can be an effective way to prevent challenging behaviors, and it teaches children useful social skills. Problem solving in the moment is one of a series of in-service suites about behavior guidance. These strategies and practices help teachers create classrooms that are filled with effective and engaging interactions and environments. That's the foundation of the National Center on Quality Teaching and Learning's House Framework for Effective Practice. The other parts of the house are use of research-based curricula and teaching practices, ongoing child assessment, and highly individualized teaching and learning. There are 5 steps that help teachers guide children's behavior and encourage their problem solving in the moment. Anticipate, be close, provide support, create multiple solutions, and celebrate success. Let's see what these look like. The first step is to anticipate. As teachers observe their children, they will begin to notice the times and activities where problems are likely to happen. It might be when all the children need to transition to a new activity at one time, or when children have to wait their turn. Teachers anticipate and get ready to problem solve. The second step is to be close. The teacher regularly scans the room or playground. When the teacher has a hunch that something might lead to a problem, the teacher moves toward the action. Then, the teacher uses a calm voice to figure out the situation. Next, the teacher provides support. For the children, learning to solve problems in the moment can be difficult. The teacher needs to remind children how to use words. The teacher might have pictures or signs that remind children how to solve a problem. The teacher can cue the children by saying, "I see we have a problem. What should we do?" Or, "This is a new toy, and everyone wants to play with it at the same time. That's a problem. How can we solve it?"
Well, say, I have a problem. So they're saying, I'm using this. What can we do to solve our problem? Claire has an idea. You can share the bin of blocks. That was a good idea.
The next step is to generate multiple solutions. There are all sorts of solutions to typical preschool problems. Children can pick a number or flip a coin or use a timer or make another choice. Some teachers create solution kits, solution lists, or solution books that contain ideas for children to try.
Do you want to look for an idea in the bathroom? Grab that. See what you can come up with. Playing together, so you would build it together. Do you want to build together too? Look at Amy's talking to you.
The final step is to celebrate success. Make sure that you let the children know that you appreciate their hard work in figuring out a solution. And give yourself a pat on the back. Problem solving in the moment means that you've taught the children some really important social skills. There are 5 steps, so remember to think 5. Use these 5 steps to help children be better problem solvers. These steps will also help prevent little classroom conflicts from becoming much bigger problems. Remember that learning to solve problems takes time and practice. Practice problem solving during circle time or lesson time so that children will be better problem solvers during the rest of the day. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so this one is redirecting behaviors, and this is going to be, oh, I like this one too. All right,
Behavior.
we're going to do redirecting behaviors next, and then I'm going to leave problem solving with the solutions kit for you to watch if you'd like to learn more about the solutions kit. Now, remember, it is all free online. So I didn't have to purchase a kit. It's all there online for us, all the resources. So if you have questions on how to use it, I'd be happy to find the resources and guide you with them. But these videos are very helpful because you can watch them in action. You can do a little bit at a time, and it goes for all age groups. You can start with little itty bitty ones on very basic redirecting, which I'm about to show you.
Behavior. It maximizes a child's engagement in learning by giving the child alternatives to a behavior that teachers consider problematic. Redirecting behavior is one in a series of in-service suite on behavior guidance. This is the House framework, the National Center on Quality Teaching and Learning. Now, let's see what redirecting behavior looks like and learn different ways to use this method in preschool classrooms. Redirecting behavior helps to increase a child's engagement in learning by preventing problem behavior in the first place and by avoiding the escalation of problematic or challenging behavior. That means teachers use redirecting before the behavior gets out of hand. Redirecting behavior consists of simple instructions and simple cues that teachers can easily embed into the ongoing activities and routines of the day. Teachers can use redirecting behavior along with classroom rules and clear expectation to help maintain a well-organized and productive learning environment. Let's look at 4 types of redirecting. Teachers can redirect verbally, physically, with a cue, or by redirecting the child's attention. Regardless of the type of redirection, it is used when the teacher notices that the child's attention is flagging, or the teacher notices that the child is on the verge of losing control or showing frustration in a way that teachers consider problematic. Redirection happens before the problem behavior. Verbal. The teacher gives a simple instruction that distracts the child from the challenging behavior and guides the child to a more appropriate behavior. The teacher might say, "Let's see if we can find another shiny car," or "I need a helper with these carpet squares. Can you help me?"
Let's go spray down our window. My friend. Oh man, our window's looking great. Nice and clean.
Physical. The teacher gives a simple instruction and uses a gentle touch to prevent the child's challenging behavior. The gentle touch interrupts the child's behavior, and in that pause, the teacher guides the child to a more appropriate behavior.
Can you look up? Let's wait until she answers our question. Ask her again. Can he see them? Oh, thank you. That was very nice.
With a cue, the teacher pairs a visual cue, like a picture or a gesture, with the instruction to prevent the child's challenging behavior and guide the child to an alternative.
Here, go like this, and he'll come land. Watch this. Land on the finger. Thank you.
Sometimes, a teacher can predict difficult situations, and so she has pictures already prepared. With attention. The fourth type of redirecting involves another child who is nearby and who is playing or talking appropriately. The teacher draws the attention of the child on the verge of a challenging behavior to the child who is engaged. This type of redirecting is sometimes called proximal attention.
So let's see who is ready to help us today. Oh, I see he's sitting really nice and quiet. He's trying his best. So I see him start with the letter D. Who is he? Thank you so much.
Redirecting behavior is a positive and proactive method for dealing with challenging behavior. It can be a way to prevent the behavior or interrupt the behavior before it escalates. By guiding the child to an alternative and more appropriate behavior, the teacher is also helping the child gain some self-control. In this module, we looked at 4 ways to use redirection: verbally, physically, with a cue, or with proximal attention. Learn more about this method of behavioral guidance in our longer in-service suite. Check out the tips for teachers, tools for
All right. So this one, like I said, I'm going to leave if you'd like to watch. It's also a great video and it tells you how to use the solutions kit that they provide online. But I wanted to go into the redirecting components because it's such an easy concept and it's so simple and it's effective when it's used right before we sense all of that. But we can't sense there's going to be trouble if we're not supervising and engaging with our students. So that's why everything that you do in the room is so important. When you're engaging with kids and you're supervising kids actively, you will sense when tensions are flaring and rising, and you will walk over and you may be able to just redirect, distract them, think of something fun or start singing a silly song, and bam, the problem has been evaded. It's gone. Poof. But if you're not actively supervising, you're going to miss that moment. And then you'll be cleaning up the yelling, screaming, hitting, biting mess that just transpired because you missed that signal and that sign. So that's why I can't stress enough that it is so important to always be with your students and not looking at your students. That doesn't serve a purpose in our field. So, with all that in mind, I want you to picture that same student again. I want you to think about their trigger. What sets them off? What makes them cry, whine, scream, hit their friends, bite their friends? And then I want you to think about how, from what you just watched, what are you going to use and what are you going to implement? Try to think of 2 different ones over the next week or so. Now, again, these things may not get smooth and take effect for the first time or even the second time you try, but if you work to implement and you are consistent and you guys work as a team, yourself and your co-teachers, then you will hopefully see success with some of these strategies. But you have to be committed. You got to be in it. So after you have implemented for a few days, try to reflect with your co-teachers. Okay, so we tried these strategies with so-and-so, with Adam. How did it go? All right, well, it didn't really work with this strategy, but I did notice that he stopped his yelling and screaming right after this incident happened, and I tried this strategy. Or we prevented a fit because we redirected or we distracted. And I was kind of in arm's reach of him the whole time, so I could sense and see when the triggers were coming or when he was about to have a moment, an episode. So when you're using these tools, it goes hand in hand with active supervision. You can't redirect if you're not observant of your students and you're not engaged with them. So I want everyone to keep that in mind. These are tools for your tool belt. Hopefully you never need them, but obviously we do. So we're going to make sure that we're well versed and we keep practicing on our students to make sure we know what works for them, what doesn't, and we're going to help them grow as little learners and individuals to get ready for kindergarten. So this is a page with Tucker Turtle, direct link. It has a variety of videos. So if you didn't just watch enough videos and you're not going to get enough with the one that I had saved at the end, more videos there. There's Tucker Turtle books, which are printable. We have some that are already printed and laminated in many classrooms. And I think in the office we have some, or in the staff, the she shed. So ask around, ask us, and you can have these resources all ready for you. There's also module trainings that will get you to become an expert of these different problem-solving techniques and implementing Tucker Turtle and the other social emotional lessons. They're very short, mini lessons that you can implement for all age groups. So it's not, I know they kept saying preschool, but many of these apply to older toddlers and older. So this slide I wanted to keep in here from last time because some of you didn't take me up on the opportunity. Some of you did, which I greatly appreciate, to watch the intro to ITERs or the intro to ECHRs, or both if you choose. And that way you have an idea of what the changes are from what it was for ITERs and ECHRs are to now we're doing module 3, level 3, version 3, whatever. Our window for the mock assessment opens in February. We have our PD day in February. So our professional development day, our enrichment day is in February on the day that we're closed. But to get ahead of all that, you can watch these, and then one place is coming to do age-specific trainings for ITERs and ECHRs. So if you're an ITER teacher, the training will be perfect for you. If you're an ECHRs teacher, you're going to have a training perfect for you. And that way it's meaningful. But these at least will give you a breakdown and an overall picture of what this is about, because it is different than what ECHRs and ITERs are. If you've never even heard of these acronyms, you should probably watch these videos. And then at least you won't be totally lost when we have our enrichment day in February. So I do suggest you watch them.
Sorry, I just wanted, I had to show the letter for the mock assessment to licensing. They have us jotted down for mid-January through mid-February for the mock assessment.
I might need to call and change that. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
So if I can't change it, then we can't change it. But it's a mock assessment. So it's supposed to give us a baseline of where we would be if we didn't work our tails off to try to get super better awesome. Because we're already there. You guys are already fantastic. But there may be some things that you're not catching or reflecting on, and that's why we're doing the mock assessment. They're going to choose 2 rooms at random, and then they will go and do like the normal assessment, and then they'll give us the results, and then we grow and learn from that. It's not a judgment on anything. It's really just to help us in our classrooms. So take it as a way to build your expertise in this field. Free resources here. Those are the logins, the username and password. Feel free to use it, and then you will have some more tools for your tool belt. Trainings that must get done. Miss Ruby has that wonderful PowerPoint that guides you through it, shows you exactly what to click, how to get to each thing. If you need that from her, message her and she will send it to you, and then you can do all your trainings with hand holding on the side because she made that PowerPoint so that you are able to do it all on your own. And then Ms. Ruby does CPR. Long story, I can't do it anymore because I took the wrong assessment and printed the wrong certificate. But anyway, questions or comments? We have an open door policy. Please stop by anytime, message someone at administration. Everyone has their person, right? So you may not be comfortable talking to me, but you may be more comfortable talking to someone else in admin, and that's okay. But if you don't talk to anyone, we will never know there's an issue. We can't help you. Some people stew about it in their classroom, and they converse about this negative aura, right? They're having these conversations that are just full of negativity, and then it grows and it festers, and then you don't even know why you were in a bad mood in the first place, but you're just in a bad mood. And then you're projecting it onto people who you work with every day or the families you engage with every day. And this is a place of work and a place of comfort for these families and your coworkers. This is a place where, we got to leave all our stuff outside. If it's something that we can help with, please tell us so we can do our best to address it. And that way, at least we tried. But everyone should enjoy their workplace. And the children, they can feed off of what's being thrown out there. So if you're constantly positive and full of joy and you're choosing joy, then they're going to have a wonderful, joyous day. But if you're choosing negativity, then that's all that's going to be coming from that classroom. So I really ask that you come to us, little, big problems, whatever they may be. Miss Joyce or Miss Ruby, did you have anything else to add?
I just wanted to add one thing to what you just said. As you said, we always ask and invite you to come and ask us any questions or anything like that that you may have. We're more than welcome to help you. We do have an open door policy. There are, we have given out papers to everybody, and I believe it's posted also, that each administrator has specific things that they are responsible for, that they do take care of. So if you have something that's specific to something on that list, you know which admin you should be going to be able to get the answer to the question that you may have. If you don't have that or you don't know, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to give it to you. But the one thing that I do want to add that we have kind of seen happen on a few occasions here and there is that somebody will go to one administrator and get an answer and they don't like the answer, so they'll go to somebody else and they'll continue with different administrators until they get an answer that they might like better. I'll tell you right now, I am not happy about that. And if I find that that's what's happening, I will be the one who will be discussing it with you because that's not okay. This is not playing mommy against daddy time. If you have a problem, go to the person who handles it. If they can't answer it, they will go to somebody who can help them to answer it. But please do not go from one to another to try and get the answer that you want. Thank you.
Yep, agreed. So we got the list, if you can still see it on my shared screen, what everyone does. I'll put this slide in our meeting that we just had so you have it for reference as well, but it's in the previous meetings that we've had us. And you can see what everyone's responsibilities are on those two slides. Now, that doesn't really cover everything that everyone does, but it is like the departments that are being handled by those individuals. So if you have a question about payroll and Joyce is not, available, then I will happily do my best to help with that. But if it's a question, I will typically relay the question to her so that she has first say. If it's something I can just handle for you quickly, then I'll do that. But making sure that you speak to the person in charge of that department would be best helpful because then we're not just passing the message around either. You can just go directly to the source. So those are the 2 pages that have all of the responsibilities on them. So if you guys have any other questions, please make sure you message us or ask in the morning and we'll be available to talk to you. Thank you for joining us this evening and I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their night and see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye. All right.